Hey, I'm here. I made it. What a crazy day, man. It's like completely insane. I'm getting my systems all created up. So everything's working pretty good and it looks like I'm on. I'm trying to streamline that coming into it. So, afternoon, Bobby. Hang on a second. Trying to type. Alrighty. Yeah. So FYI, no Chris today. He's fixing the orgy dome at Burning Man. So he's busy. They had the sandstorm out there and the orgy dome got blown away. And so he's over at Burning Man or someplace close. But he's out doing field stuff. And so Chris won't be on today. So I popped in a few minutes early just so I could say hi to everybody. And then I'm going to pop off a little early myself and have dinner and go. But yeah, waking up to a psycho day, right? And it's like there's demons out there. This is total demon action. And I'm going to tell some demon stories in the beginning. And it's a kind of a gun related thing. So, messing with a rifle scope and Frank pops up. Yes, he does. I'm here. Savoir faire is everywhere. Yes, we did get I could do that. Yes, we did. Chris is asking if the smoker's up. Laura did the smoker yesterday, came out good. So Saturday, I picked up the Pit Boss, put it together. I didn't want to wait for deliveries or anything, so I just grabbed the box, brought it home on Saturday, and spent Saturday afternoon putting it together. And then yesterday, I've already cooked on the grill side. Yesterday, Laura did the smoker with ribs. So she just got some pork ribs and yes, right? Savoir faire is everywhere. Um so she ended up getting some pork ribs, put them on the smoker, came out really good. We gotta need to learn the pellets. So the temp flux in the beginning was a little weird. It took a minute, and I figured it's got to get cooked in, at least 2 or 3 times to break it in. Got to break in the grill. But really look at the pellet burn. So she had a crazy fluctuation early on in the pellet burn. Got it sorted out, and what it looked like to me, because like I said, that was Laura's gig. She wanted to put it all together and do the smoker side. She likes the idea of the meat and she does the cooking. And so it's 20 degrees hotter with the pellets we currently have. So I'll get to that in a second, John. But yeah, so the the pellet at first was running hotter, and then I'm like, well, just dump it down low and then go from there. And so John's asking about the membership differences to watch the high TV and the training videos. The supporter should do it, just having a supporter account. And then I believe you also have to just subscribe to the channel with the supporter account. Now, I had put the older training videos. If you have a supporter account and you're in the forum, you should be able to jump in and see all the old videos. There's like 180 of them, and you should have access to those, John, in the forum under Hide Training. Now, going into Hide TV, I think as long as you have your supporter account, the only difference is subscribing to the channel. And I don't think you have to pay for I have to look again. I don't believe you have to pay to look on that, but they changed it like 3 times on me and I never went back and looked. So to start to watch the videos, start by subscribing, but the only account I believe you need is the supporter. I have to go in and look and see if they changed it to the plus, because it might be a case where you need a plus. Where's the upgrades here? And I just saw an upgrade thing too, but it might be a case of a plus. Um, John, let me double check really quick. I have to go to the forum. Is easier way place for me to do it. Courses, channels, podcast. Oh, subscribe. There it is. All right, so let me see. Yes, the supporter does it, John. So just the supporter does it. The legend gives you the no ads, full post exchange. So in a supporter, um, you're just not getting the premium streams, the merch discount, free merch. So you got to go to a legend to get everything. So the legend does it all, John, and the supporter just gives you access to the videos, but you have to subscribe to them in order. So I believe if you're not subscribed, it doesn't let you in even if you have a supporter account. So I believe you have to just follow the channel, but a supporter account is the one that you need for that. So yeah, I just looked cuz they did clean them up. There used to be a supporter plus, there was like 4 of them and they actually fixed it. So now it's just supporter and legend. The supporter will give you the videos and access to chat stuff. The legend gives you everything. So that's the difference. What you don't get is the webinar. You don't get merch at the end of the year for Christmas. Some premium streams, and I don't think I've done too many premiums, although I may have. And then merch discounts. If you go to Legend, you get access to everything. So that's the difference. And I just looked and double checked, but it's undersubscribed on the Hide TV homepage. So if you just go to subscribed, they did clean it up because it was complicated for a minute. I want to say there was 4 or 5 tiers you can sign up for, and now they've scaled it back to 2. The third one is a commercial. So there's 2 subscription models, and then there's a commercial model for businesses. So that's the way it is right now for this. But I've been kind of jumping on from some free ones and things like that. And then course wise, certain courses are individualized, like what Chris did. And so his win class is a separate thing. So the site gives you certain access, and then other courses are separate for like Chris and the other ones that did that. But yeah, I mean, what a crazy kind of place. Yes, Alex, and thanks, Howard. Alex manages the site on another level. I mean, I understand people don't recognize it and she doesn't have a sniper's hide, but they honestly run this for me to give me. Now I have to do some certain things with people. Certain people, like, they want to talk to me, which is weird because I have a ads team now. I have a web team now, and then kind of my job is running around content advertising and doing some other stuff. But Alex and the crew, they're really, really good. The relationship, I it was lucky that I found the company that I found just prior to COVID when I upgraded the hide. It was I liked what I saw. I hired them prior to COVID to do a project. When COVID came around and the hide was, during COVID, we were doing 1.5 million uniques a month. We sort of settle into half a million uniques is a typical place where I am today. But at the time of COVID, we were doing so much traffic, and the company partnered with me in a lot of this. So Alex, crew, Mike, and everybody over there, they do a fantastic job running the site. And honestly, you never know what it's going to be like when you hire somebody, whether they like the industry you're in, whether they want to work with you. And these guys have been really, really good. And on top of it, they understand the pitfalls of the gun industry. They've learned it, and they work to make us self-contained. So I'm not, I can get censored. YouTube or X or Facebook can axe this live in a heartbeat, and they do. If I pick up, there's a handgun behind me. If I pick up the handgun behind me and start waving it around, YouTube will kill it. And so everything they're doing helps me minimize my reliance in a way that a company could take advantage. And so I appreciate the work that they do. So that's why I do get upset, like when the guys were calling her spam and started a thread sort of attacking the work she does, because it's outstanding. And in a day and age where you don't know until it's potentially too late, she does the Audento crew, Alex and company do a fantastic job for us. So I do really appreciate everything they do, and I appreciate you saying something, because they do work hard to make this site. And even like, this is designed, and John's just asking about subscriptions. The subscriptions are self-managed like any system today. Now we this week we are having conversations behind the scenes about PayPal, because PayPal has made it harder. And we moved away from PayPal, but there are people who are still tied into PayPal with us. And so eliminating them is difficult. And I get people every day unsubscribe me. And it really, you can. I don't have to. It's self, like Netflix. And they email with just unsubscribe me, cancel my subscription. They don't say anything. They don't say, "Hey, I'm John. My subscription is this. My email is this." They just say, "Cancel me." And it's done. It's 1 second done. I forward it, it's all done. And so, I mean, people are really rude, raw when it comes to the forum and subscriptions and things like that. And they could be pretty, like we've seen today, is that day is hateful. And and so it's one of those things. We have our own system now through High TV, so I can only cancel you to a certain extent if you're on PayPal. I can say no on the forum if you're on that system. On High TV, there's a completely separate self-contained subscription system with your credit card and all that, and it's not PayPal anymore. We still are kind of weeding, because I had thousands of people on PayPal. And so getting them all off and breaking them off of it has been slow. But I used to be able to go into PayPal and say, cancel Howard's account. Not anymore. They won't let me. And so PayPal made it very difficult for me to cancel you. You have to cancel you. And it used to be I could do it. Like, "Oh, okay, Howard." No, I mean, he wants the other system. And they've changed things. And what it is, it's the reoccurring thing. A lot of the companies and businesses and all this know, if we make it hard for you to do it, you won't do it. And it's just money. You forget about it. $10, $5, $20, and you don't think about it. "Oh, I'm on PayPal." I don't think about it. And so that's why they make it hard. And so we went to our own system. It's in Hide TV now. You don't do it through the forum. Although once you do it on Hide TV, will connect you to the forum. It's backwards now. The forum used to run the website. The forum, everything was based off the forum systems. A year ago in June, we moved it so the forum was secondary system wise, and Hide TV, which has modern tools, modern dashboards, and much more robust abilities, we moved it to there. And so we kind of play in between that, and so we're scraping as many people away from PayPal as possible, but it's a bigger process because people change emails, they do all kinds of stuff, and so they disappear. And and that's one of the things. But we have, like I said, we have, and don't get me wrong, me PayPal treats me very well because in their eyes, I'm a forum and I'm software. And I don't sell firearms, I don't sell a product. So when they look at me, they see an API from Zenforo and they go, he's a forum. That's great. And so PayPal does really good for me. It does not do well for the individual. It doesn't do well on the gun side. As I said, we over the last year have been moving these services away from where we were. Like I said, like Alive, if I pick up a firearm, YouTube will kill it. I generally on Wednesday nights use YouTube. Now, when I go live for lessons, when I do the webinars, I bypass all of those social media in like YouTube's, Rumbles. I bypass them. I'm able to connect directly into Sniper's Hide and Hide TV. So I don't have a third party watching what I'm doing that has providence over me to shut it off. So YouTube right now can kill this feed. And if YouTube killed this live, it would kill it on the hide because I used the link from YouTube just out of convenience. Now I can go directly into the hide and bypass X, bypass that, and I don't need a third party. And so that makes it where I do lessons and training with the firearm, I could just roll right into it. And I don't have to worry about I picked up a gun. And it's because of the kid today. They don't want that crazy kid going live and walking through the church doing what he did. And so there's that fear from social media that anyone live with a firearm is up to no good. And today that's a good bet for a lot of what we see. But for like me, I'm a business, I'm a company, firearms are my business. I can't do it. I can't say, hey, man, I'm doing this as an educational lesson, not as one in hate. And it doesn't have that ability to say, oh, Frank's teaching. Frank's not mad at, whoever. And so, but this demon, like, I mean, the whole thing, this is like demonic. And I come from Connecticut. We're pretty deep in, like I laughed about a lot, ghost stories and folklore. My town killed more witches than Salem. We're known for witches. And so we have witch rocks and areas and hanging places, and we're a tiny little suburb of Bridgeport, but Stratford killed witches. And so, like, that is deep in my upbringing. and Catholic. And then school, I was part of the Warrens. You know what I mean? The Warrens, when you go look at The Conjuring, the movies, and in the first Conjuring movie, not the other ones, they talked about the Warrens came to schools every year. And they had slideshows and projectors. So we were always through church and through school um told demons and ghosts were real. And so I grew up like that and I believe that. You know what I mean? And so I'm down in Texas. I'm actually at TAC Pro in Stephenville, and Stephenville has the connection in Texas to the UFO sighting as well. Stephenville had a big UFO sighting that came up through the middle of Texas, and I saw it. I saw the jets chasing it because I was there, and not in Stephenville, but I was south, and I saw when the jets were chasing the UFO. And so anyway, I'm in Stephenville. I'm at TAC Pro, and 2 or 3 times, maybe I'm gonna say a half dozen, I've had bouts of sleep paralysis. And in this time, I'm at Alice's house. Alice, who works for AI, I'm staying at her house, and you know, negative waves are running around, and I go to bed, and I wake up with sleep paralysis, and I'm like frozen. And I look down, like how I was sleeping, it gave me a view. Like I could open my eyes, but like just moving my eyes, I could see a lot more. I wasn't curled up in a weird way. And I had 3 demons on me. And I'm like, whoa. And, you got to kind of work on that. And so I saw them. I'm like, whoa, I got 3 demons holding me down. I could be dreaming. It could be and it could be anything. You can come up with 1,000 reasons, and none of them were demons, but I saw 3 demons. And so why not? It would make sense to chip away, chip away, chip away, go with somebody who has access to things. And if you read that guy's books, he was writing English with Russian letters, Cyrillic letters. So he wrote English words with Cyrillic lettering. In one of the pages, he drew a picture of him looking in the mirror at a demon, and he spoke to it. And the demon told him to kill himself. And that's where this goes. It's like they can only rattle in your ear, and just give you a bad day. But like this kid kept saying, another bad day, another bad day, another bad day. This is useless. Another bad day. This is useless. And it's the same model as Sandy Hook. Connecticut, grew up there. So the Sandy Hook. So here's the background of the Sandy Hook stuff. Because I'm from there. My daughter was in school one town over and was in lockdown during Sandy Hook. Newtown. Sandy Hook is a curve on a road. It's Newtown. And I worked in Sandy Hook. My first job out of the Marine Corps was at an electrical place that did restoration. So if your house half burned down and they send the ambulance in to fix it, board your window up, get your power going, suck out the water. I worked for a company like that doing electrical work. And it was in Sandy Hook, and it was right on the curve. Well, Connecticut, Newtown is famous for Fairfield Hills. Fairfield Hills was a giant campus insane asylum. And we used to grow up our entire lives. My dad would yell at you, I'm going to send you to Fairfield Hills. You're going to go to Fairfield Hills. You're acting crazy, you know, and you're going. And we would all laugh. Fairfield Hills. And so they closed it and closed all of them, right? Mental illness doesn't pay. So that's why they closed the insane asylums. I mean, there was torture light, but it doesn't pay. Which Cracker Barrel, I'm gonna squirrel on you. Remind me, I'm coming back to Cracker Barrel. Anyway, so the mom and dad in Newtown, Lanza, divorce. My cousin went to school with the kid. My cousin Michael. They live in Newtown. My cousin Pete still lives there. His son, Michael, went to school with the Newtown kid. They bullied him. He was exactly how he looked. Got the exact picture 100 me attacking the kid. That's what happened. So this kid is shot. Mom and dad divorced. Dad goes to New York. He's a finance guy. He don't want to deal with broken kid. He leaves. So mom's struggling to figure out what to do. She's gonna have him committed. But the only place that's full-time care is in Oregon. So mom's gonna send the kid to a hospital in Oregon. He don't want to go. Mom don't love me. So the mom worked at the school. Today, that kid's mom worked at the church. Right? Same, same. You get the demon, starts in your ear, and this is what happens. And so Adam goes there and does what he does after killing mom to get back at mom because he loved those kids more than me. Now you fast forward to this kid, and it's crazy how much he apologized to his what do you call it? Family. It's nuts because that's the demon, right? He didn't want it. The demon convinced him. So that's what's going on with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I want to talk Cracker Barrel really quick. Cracker Barrel is about real estate, not about anything else. It's about real estate money. So they take Cracker Barrel and they go to the food first. No more fresh food. We're going to give you frozen food on the truck's going to come in and you're going to nuke it. If you're going to nuke the food, you don't need 3 layers of chefs or cooks. You only need 1. So now they get more waitresses, less cooks. And look, you can look this up. This is what's happening. Less cooks, and they slowly chip away at the quality of Cracker Barrel. So they started modifying it in the kitchen first with this woman, and then she's changing the building. Why? Think about McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut buildings from the 90s. They were all unique. The roofs, right? Pizza Hut with the red shingles, McDonald's, your golden arches with the white trim and the tiles, all that stuff's a unique building. They're homogenizing it to sell it because the franchisees have the franchise, National has the land. I tank the food, which tanks the restaurant. I change the iconic building to a box, a rectangle. Homogenize everything so when I sell it, you, the consumer, don't care if it's a square box. So rather than buying an old Pizza Hut that might have to be knocked down, I added value to my property because it doesn't look like Cracker Barrel. It looks like a rectangle. And I could put any sign on that rectangle and I'm going to get top dollar. If I have a customer or a possible sale come up and they say, "Oh, I want to buy your property, but I got to knock your Cracker Barrel down. That's going to cost me money." I'm not going to pay for your Cracker Barrel if I got to knock it down. But if you make the building desirable while you're slowly tanking the inside, the level of quality of food, then when the time comes to fire sale this place, I'm going to make out and look like a rock star to the board. This is all future proofing to get rid of these things and to tank it. They turned comfort food into fast food. So they're not making your comfort food, they're heating it up. You're not going to come back. So then they're going to close and they're going to sell off the building for money, and it'll be desirable. Cuz do you really care if that rectangle McDonald's, Taco Bell, Cracker Barrel is that or an AT&T? Verizon. Look at the Verizon buildings and look at the AT&T buildings and then look at the fast food buildings. They look the same now. So the buildings to pop in and get your cell phone sorted out look exactly the same as the other. Nice, Kyle. We're pulling out. So she did the short ribs yesterday, or the not short ribs. She did the spare ribs yesterday on the smoker. I took out short ribs to do a Korean short rib because I have the half a cow in the garage. And so yeah, bacon wrapped sirloin is on Kyle's menu tonight. That's pretty awesome. But this is what is happening. They're it's a weird kind of thing cuz you know, the elites are making bunkers. What do they know? We don't. The aliens are going to be here, Atlas 3, in October, November. What do they know? We don't. Is there a planetary inversion? Are we about to flip? Or are we in a progression that maybe we're not going to flip, but we're going to start cavitating and breaking on the way to the flip? Maybe they know, maybe they don't. I don't know. But they're doing things in my mind that say we have no future, or our future is going to be limited. And I don't think it's political. They're using politics to put us under thumb because I think they want to run and hide and they don't want, the masses to take their shit. It's like, oh, the haves and have nots. I part of it feels very have and have not. The haves want it for themselves. We're serfs, right? And Trump's cutting the leashes through the Doge, through the tax, through all that other stuff. He's cutting our leashes, and they don't like that. He's making us less dependent on the system by eliminating the system that has been created around us. And so that's where the piss you off stuff comes in, or they're pissed off about everything. That's the threats to democracy, is cutting those leashes we've been slapped with. And, it's crazy because I'm like looking, there was definitely a financial adjustment around 72, 73. And they talk about it with the elimination of Nixon because they say Nixon really wasn't the bad guy he is portrayed. He was dealing with a deep state in a way, and there was some other things happening. But if you look financially, there was a break around 72 to 75. Well, with the shooting today and what was going on, it's 94 to like 86. There's a crazy spike in this, and then it goes straight up. The recognition of like the transgenderism and the move from mental illness to acceptance is right around that 96 to 86. So it's like, what changed? Or 90 or 86 to 96. Yeah, 86 to I had it backwards. 86 to 96. So it's like, well, 96 we start getting the computer, but 86 is early. And so it's like, man, you start to see the graphs of where things in history changed for us, where sort of big milestones are. And now this like this whole push today, the whole other side is it's the gun, it's the gun, it's the gun. It's not the gun. We know that. That's just them doing their thing because they don't want to accept the reality of the person, the mental illness, and the fact that these were institutionalized problems in the past. If you exhibited these behaviors, you were locked up. If you exhibited these behaviors, your family put you away to protect everyone else from you. And so, not wanting to acknowledge the behavior, they go to the object, which is the firearm. And it's just crazy that yeah, don't and I'm excited it's not working. They're getting laughed at. Their message is the minority. Their message is the one being mocked. And that's a good sign for us. But this is absolutely demon activity. And I kind of crossed up lately a bit. I've even I'm like major land is coming up. There's a monastery. Excuse me, I burped. There's a monastery not too far in Virginia from Major Land, a Catholic Jesuit, something like that. And the priest shoots and comes. And so it's I see him and I get a little bit of and I grab the some rosary and some stuff that they have because they always carry stuff. And so I'll get a quick hook me up, you know. I like those guys. I think they're fun. They're well read, they're super personable, and so I enjoy yeah, exactly. Howard got it right. And exactly. We've had milestones that are that way. No, I don't think I don't think so. I mean, I know the Army has their own reticle. Kyle's asking about have you been able to mess with the Army's optic and ballistic software? I think they saw a bunch of using it but are quiet, and I figured it depends what they're using. I mean, it because a lot of them, if they have Kestrels, are just AB guys. And the rifle, they have their own. I think they call it what, a CCH, their reticle. So with the optic, they sort of went to the Leopold as the optic, but they stopped using a dedicated Horus. They have a hybrid that they sort of stole half of it from Horus and then threw a couple other things on it, and they didn't want that licensing. Software wise, they've been mainly running AB. I don't know if they got something else, but almost everything is running AB. So, because all their electronics have it, and so 99% are running applied ballistics. And the drones, yeah, they're not good drones. I think half of them were Chinese drones. They said there was a certain number of them were not authorized. They're basically trying to downplay it. I do personally think Biden sold us out to China and the balloons and the things they were mapping us. So I do think I haven't shot the two-piece ammo of the 6.8. No, I haven't done any of the big calibers. Anything like that. I've only been around the guys running the Barretts and the stuff. I haven't now major land, all the new teams will be there. If it's working really good, somebody'll have it and I'll see it in October. Cause all the he's asking about the 6-8 and the other stuff. I don't I've had a little bit of with the two-piece cases. I had one go boom in a 223 and blew up Seekins on me that way, but I'm not a fan of the two-piece case in any way, shape, or form. I blew a gun up with one. So I'm not a two-piece case guy at all. But the drone wise, I honestly think because they're not telling us, Biden let China map us. And they're being really cagey about it. And they did say a small amount of them were not authorized because they're trying to convolute it on us and not tell us the truth. You know what I mean? So the Jersey drone thing, but you keep seeing sprinklings where it's like, yeah, we got 10 sightings and they can tell you what 8 of them are, but those 2 over there, they're not mentioning. And so I really feel that Biden sold us to China and let them map us. So who knows? And I do think that's what those drones were. Yeah, and really on the and going back to the two-piece case thing, for a civilian, a two-piece case makes 0 sense. There's no benefit to it, and because especially because the money's not cheaper. And so I don't like the two-piece cases. I think they're not there yet. And for the military, it makes sense. One and done, leave it on the ground. You're not doing anything with it. It's expensive. I don't quite think it's ready for prime time. Like I said, as soon as I put one, my first box blew up my Seekins. And so I had gotten a case in, and the first box I shot blew the gun up within like 6 rounds. So I am not a fan of the two piece. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. I'm not doing very I got dead air for you guys. Yeah, I don't know. I do believe they did some serious bad stuff to us. Personally, they I think and this is, my brain. I'm in conspiracy mode. I should have called this a conspiracy podcast or live. But personally, backspace what I think they wanted to bankrupt the US corporation. So they were like they said, they stole all our money. They threw that 90 billion or whatever the number was before they left. Like they did the biggest chunk of money between the election and the 20th of January. They dumped a bunch of money in hidden places. What I think they really want is if they bankrupt the corporation of America, like the Soviet Union, you bankrupt the corporation of America, you nuke the Constitution, they kill the Second Amendment, they modify the First Amendment, and they were going to remake America like they did Russia. So when Russia fell in the 80s, and then it became, what it is, or it was the Soviet Union became Russia now. It was the United Federation or something they are. But anyway, I think that's what they wanted to bankrupt us. And they were breaking all these things and they were destroying these institutions to reset America in a global image and get rid of our checks and balances that give us power. So, in my mind, the reason why everybody put blinders on in government with um Biden is because one, they paid off anybody who would have gave him trouble, who had the authority. Two, they were looking to speed train us into a wall and throw us off a cliff, and they were racing to break us. They figured from Obama to Clinton should have sealed the deal for us. But then when Trump came in and then 2020, they were trying to get that reset back in gear. And so yeah, I mean China's everywhere. Like I had said to me, they followed me around, and the bit of stuff I do with them, I keep at arm's reach. And I work with like a Photo and the DNT, but I had other companies follow me around across America. Like I would be somewhere and I'd get a text, um, and the text would be like, "Hey, we want to talk to you," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm in Alaska," and they'd be like, "Oh, we're here. We'll come see you," and I'm like, "What?" But yeah, China followed me around, and then yeah, and what I learned today too, Kyle. So conspiracy theories shooter today. Thailand is the biggest destination for trans surgery. The second biggest destination for trans surgery is Iran, right? Why? How does that come into play when things like Sharia don't work with? So, why is Iran the second largest state sponsor of trans surgery? That's crazy to me. It makes no sense, but that's part of this whole global why Iran, there's something going on in Iran that we don't see. Why that billions of money from Obama, why the Paris Accords, why are they funneling money, WEF money, uniparty money into Iran? And then Biden had a lot of Iranian infiltrators running his government. So I don't understand who's running a show over there, what's going on, that a lot of the elites are funneling money to them. So it's weird. So I don't know. And so yeah, it's conspiracy Wednesday, I guess. But that they're 50% of the people say that thing coming in space will be here October and it's not good. 50% of the people is that there's going to be a false flag using aliens. So you don't know where to go. You got to kind of, pinch your salt, throw it over your shoulder and hope for the best at this point. But all things, especially like today, that this was the second church shooting in 2 days in Minneapolis. They had 7 shot yesterday. Beginning of school just started, and day 2 of school, we have what could have potentially been bigger. The the kid was lacking, thankfully. And yes, right. Why are they feeding Iran all the tech? And Iran is right. There's a ton of tech in Iran. And they're considered one of the best reverse engineer places right now. Like if you want to reverse engineer our tech, send it to Iran. That's what they say. But yeah, so but it's crazy. Right. Right. Yeah, if you're in Washington, I feel bad for you. It's just as bad as Colorado. You're worse than we are, really. And that's why I got to go and all this. But yeah, I mean, today the way that kid was kitted out, he didn't go inside. He stayed outside. So he chickened out at the last minute. And in his writings, he wanted to see him die and see the kids and see the horror and see all the negative, and he didn't go in the building. And so that's what kind of kept everything low, number wise low. But I have a feeling this is the ramp up. We're in Trump world. It's his first year, first time of school back. They're looking to do something big. Like I said, they want the US broke, whether it's corporate or some other way, and they want to reset. No second, modified first, and then we'll get the corruption to where they want it so they don't have to hide it from us, although they're not hiding it anymore. They haven't hid it since Biden came in. It's just F you. What are you going to do about it? We hold all the cards. You don't. That's why they threw everybody in jail for January 6th to ice us, you know. Yeah, let's see. Said those old school, yeah, missiles and drones, saturated, sea attack, defense. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And so I don't know. Like I said, we are, we were the problem. They weren't saying anything until Trump showed up in 2016. They were fully prepared through Clinton to fold us into what Europe's doing. Trump broke that chain. And so, either they slink back in their hole, but that's his whole dismantling, right? He's dismantling their system. He learned, and I'm appreciative that the team there today is doing what they're doing, to be honest. Because without that dismantling, the money, the 84,000 so far they've taken out of government, we'd be in big trouble, and then they could just put their heads down and block everything. But yeah, they don't want the corporation of America to survive. So I saw got in the new Gun Digest this week, in the Quarter Creedmoor's on the cover. I'm kind of psyched with that. I was pleasantly surprised that the 25 Creedmoor was that much above and beyond the 6.5. I really wasn't seeing it. And until I shot it, I wasn't seeing that was going to be that good. And I'm really, really happy that it is that good. And I want to jump into, matter of fact, I was going to go to the range today and my weather was shit. We had storms all over and it's wet, and storms last night and dumped a ton of water. I didn't want to drive out there in the mud. So I was planning to jump out and get in on the 25 Creedmoor again, because I'm like I said, that first time, and it's crazy because Chris had doped it, and I got to edit the video up. I shot a bunch of video of us just gravity ballisticsing the 25 Creedmoor, and it's so fast, and it's not fast. It's 2850, but fast. 2850 is the sweet spot. It's so fast. It's flat. That bullet with its BC as high as it was, gravity ballistics works perfect with it. I mean, you throw it in a gravity ballistics number, 25 Creedmoor is just on the line, on the line, on the line, on the line, because it's such a it's a God, it's a ballistically great cartridge. And I was super surprised that it, because I like a 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean, granted, I like a 6.5 Creedmoor with a 130 over a lot of other, but I like a 6.5 Creedmoor a lot. And to see a 25 Creedmoor improve that much over it, I mean, a full point. Whoa. Over a 6.5 was crazy to me. Blew my mind. I wasn't expecting it. I hadn't paid a lot of attention to it, because it's like, to me, it's like, well, okay, just put a 130 and a 6.5, and what's the difference? And you kind of can do that, but the BC is the difference. The bullets, they don't have a 6.5 bullet. I mean, that's that close to that without going super heavy and slow. And to have a bullet that light, that high of a BC, if they somebody needs to make one with a 6.5. like a lighter 132. There needs to be like a high, long, pointy 132 6.5 bullet, and that'd probably bring the 6.5 back into favor. I think it's messed up that the EU egged the yeah, the EU. Well, and that's part of it. They want these institutions broken. There's some sort of other reset on a bigger scale. It's like Howard was saying with 63 in Kennedy. Then you get 72 with Nixon. It was meant to be another one with Trump now, like this, because he threw a wrench in the work. But I would almost say 16 was probably going to be another milestone. They're saying, did you see with that? They're saying with Nord Stream they caught the dudes and they have 6 or 8 guys that are what, Ukrainian or German? Or they haven't said, but they said they caught all the Nord Stream people. What is it? Masonville. Oh, Bigfoot. Jacob's texting me. I'm like, what is he texting? But somebody said, I just read it yesterday or this morning that they caught one guy with Nord Stream, which led them to 8 guys. And then they're saying they do have the state sponsor connection, but I almost want to say they blame Germany. I mean, maybe I just read it wrong or something, but yeah, I saw that today that uh there was movement on that Nord Stream, which was crazy. But yeah, they just want Russia to nuke somebody and so we could fight back. They want a big fight. And like I said, that crazy that we don't have to be there right now. Um and so who knows what that, but there's a reason they're looking to break America now. There's a reason the UK is where it's at now. And so it's I'm not like I said, they don't act like there's a long-term plan worldwide. They act like, in 3 years you're on your own, good luck. I mean, what are the alerts going out in the UK to keep water and X amount of food in your house in case of war? Or is that just some general, repeated message that somebody's bringing attention to? Yeah, exactly. And they wouldn't. There's no, like I said, we're in such a place right now where these skirmishes and stuff, like, you know, absolutely, if they wanted to make Ukraine a bigger mess, they could. They've done the symbolic, I'm gonna smash you with our big missiles, but even their big missiles they've been lobbing at each other haven't had big payloads. They're like, hey, we're gonna use the fastest, craziest missile we got, but we're only gonna put a little bomb in it. And it's like, so I'm confused. The idea of let's break this, but not break it. Yeah, I'm confused. Like I said, this is whole it's conspiracy theory, and then how many are right, what's going on with all this other stuff, and why are these people, even today, I don't know. Like I said, I just find it insane. But in my mind, my message for today, I'm gonna go and eat in a bit. It's demonic. This is demons walking on earth, whether they're an ancient race manipulating us to a point, whether it's an extraterrestrial race who's been here longer manipulating us to a point, whether it's just craziness and these people want kings and queens again. I don't know. Yes, exactly. That's a right. Kyle is exactly saying that. That's what I mean. They were sending those giant missiles and those things, and they weren't putting the warheads in them, and they were letting the speed and the impact do it, and not dropping MIRVs and stuff, which is great. Which is telling as well. It's like we can, we might, we could look. Yeah, but Howard, I do think the hippies are the problem. I really, really think there was an up and coming hippie culture after World War II, and it was sooner than we give it credit for. And it sort of goes back to like a Hells Angels thing. Like the guys from World War II created the Hells Angel, but you don't really hear about the Hells Angels until the 60s. So I personally think after World War II, something was created. And maybe it's the 50s. Maybe it goes to Eisenhower meeting with aliens like they told us. And, it's an Eisenhower thing when he came in. Because part of it seems like we're talking about, 63, 72. Part of it seems like there was some funny business in the Eisenhower years. Like he did some things that were outside the norm, I'd wanna say, for somebody who just won World War II. He did some oddly disarming things. So I don't know. I just think we're in a weird place. I think we have to stay frosty. I think stay strapped. Like today I had to go and get mail. I'm out here east of Denver, family area, and or farm area, not family, farm area. And when we come onto the highway, and I'm at an intersection of all the highways, the 76, which goes to Nebraska, is a light traffic highway. Like every week, there's an accident right where I get on. There was one today, and it was in the weirdest place. And then, like a month ago, I was driving down. Two people were fighting on the side of the road, like their car was a mile away almost, and like maybe one got out and was walking away, and the other one chased them down because their car was the opposite direction they were, so they were walking backwards. But then they were fist fighting on the highway, and so there's all this weird, crazy stuff. And yeah, I just think that they act like time's short. Fuck it. But anyway, we'll get back to guns. I just like I said, Chris wasn't here. He's fixing the orgy dome at Burning Man. He's out. Well, he's not there, but he's close enough. And so I knew he wasn't going to be on. And then it was just a weird day, and the tragedy that happened and stuff. And it's like, man, I'm over these people. I'm overseeing this. It's the gun. I'm overseeing, all the silliness that's being said. And it was like, man, I'm just going to go conspiracied out. It's demons. It's got it. There's no other explanation. It's demons. And so, anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to jump. I will talk to you guys soon. I appreciate you all for being on. I will talk more guns. No, the M40s, so I'll real quick. No, they got rid of all the M40s. My two M40s, I have an A1 and an A3. They're both on takeoff stocks. So when they switched stocks, a lot of the old M40 stocks, a bunch of them went back to Macmillan with certificates that said you got your serial numbers in them. There was all kinds of stuff. and I have 2. I have an M40A1 and I have an A3, both correctly done. GA did both of them. I have a Unerdal on my A1. I have a Schmidt from Premier, and instead of the NSN, they put Sniper's Hide on it. So I have a period correct A3 and a period correct A1. In my A3 is a Jim Owens stock, not an A4. There was one stock the Marine Corps gave back for the A3s that were different than all the rest. It looks like a Hawaiian fighting axe because the hook for your hand is way bigger and different. So the hook that your hand goes in on the A4 on my stock is huge because it was like a machine gun one. Um, and so I have that, but the association's doing their raffle. The raffle's out right now. I think the raffle they're giving away an A6. A6 or A7. It's a chassis gun. So you can get an M40 from the Marine Corps Scout Sniper Association, the Heritage Foundation. There's still a raffle. They're doing the raffle because we're doing the statue at Quantico. So they need like $3 million for the statue at Quantico. So they've been raffling off a lot of rifles. And I think there's an A6 right now being raffled. I don't know the date. But anyways, I'm gonna jet. Thanks for being on. Thanks, appreciate everybody. I will be on this probably Friday. I may be on. I'll take a look. If not Sunday morning, I'll jump on for that. Chris doesn't come back until next week. And I'm gonna go to the range. I got 25 Creedmoor stuff to do. I got tripod stuff to do. Check out the videos on Hide TV. And then I put a new podcast up yesterday. If you're listening to the Everyday Sniper podcast, if you missed the lives, you can go over to Hide TV and watch them on demand. They're all there. So thanks a lot. Appreciate y'all. Cheers, and